Jacksonville 911, what's the location of your emergency?
Did not come home from school today, so phone is going straight to Brooklyn. It's not like her. Okay. You have no idea what she is.
This is a story about a 16-year-old girl named Iyana who attended Terry Parker High School in Jacksonville, Florida. The call you just heard was her mom reaching out to the police after she went missing.
Her sister was on the bus and she wasn't. I don't understand why she wasn't on the bus.
Did you ask your sister why?
She said she didn't know, and that's not like her. That's not like them to be together.
Do you think it's foul play?
Ma'am, I have no idea. This is out of character for her. Oh. And for me to call you all, something's wrong.
Once her mom reported her missing, the police actually went to the school and they looked at the surveillance video to see if they noticed, anything on the surveillance video. Through checking out the surveillance video, they did notice that she actually was leaving. She left the school about 11 a.m., but they couldn't see who picked her up. And when she was leaving, she actually had a bag with her. She had 2 bags with her. Now, the crazy thing is inside these bags that she had with her, the 2 bags was full of Victoria's Secret underwear. She had a bag full of Victoria's Secret underwear, and someone picking her up at 11 a.m. just seemed kind of awkward at the time. So that raised a lot of questions of the underwear and someone picking her up about this. So they started a search after the call was made, and then after 2 days of not finding her, they elevated her from a runaway to a missing persons. So after that, her mom found a discovery on her laptop that they wanted to talk about.
How do you get to it? Tell me how do you get to it?
I went there in the recycler bin right here.
The recycle bin?
And then she also got other notes over here on the side. If they ask you for a password, she got some of the notes locked. And she got other stuff that she wrote in here about him too, though.
Access the laptop. They ultimately find a letter that she had put inside as a diary entry talking about a guy named Jose that she was in love with and that she had all of these feelings for. Her mother had never heard about the guy named Jose. See, when Iyana was 15 years old, Iyana was dealing with a gentleman that lived across the street from their home. So they believed that this 25-year-old gentleman that she was dealing with at the time, who actually ended up going to jail and being charged as a predator for dealing with a 15-year-old girl, they thought that he was the guy Jose that she was talking about, figuring that after he had been arrested before for dealing with her, they possibly started up another relationship and he was dealing with her again. But when they spoke to him, he had an alibi for the day that she had went missing. So they had a conversation with her younger sister, asking her who Jose was. And her younger sister ended up telling them that Jose is not the gentleman that was across the street. Jose is Uncle Johnny. So after finding out that the Jose was not the gentleman that used to live across the street, and Jose actually turns out to be Uncle Johnny, which is her uncle by marriage, then things get a little bit more dicey. And at this junction in the story, it's time to go have a conversation with Uncle Johnny to find out what actually happened to Iyana and what's his story about his relationship with Iyana.
Hey John, what's going on?
This is crazy.
All this just got dropped on me. Like
both of us. I was just trying to get a damn guy to sign a lease over there, and I'm coming back. I see patrol cars in my dang house. He literally had her kids, for summers. Summer at a time, and then weekends.
All 4.
All of them. If we knew where she was at, we would have been the first ones to grab her ass and bring her over.
Yeah, exactly.
We're posting stuff on our Facebook trying to find her the same way they are. So I'm gonna tell you, with regards to this here, do I think my husband is capable of any of this? No, I don't. You know, but I mean, I don't. We have a missing piece of the puzzle.
Hang out here, they'll go in and look.
Okay, that's cool.
And then we'll take it, we'll go from there. So you guys hang tight for me?
Yeah, it's not a problem.
You got all the rooms?
Yeah.
Okay, so
The backyard.
is it? Yeah, let's look at the back.
We're looking in the backyard? That's right. Sure.
Once that all happened, we got blocked completely from having any communication.
But then the girl said, well, we can't speak with you now because we blocked. Mama said to block you, so we gotta wait until this passes over.
Okay.
So, I mean, the same, but it's not like, it's not uncommon.
Yeah, this has happened before, and then they come and they'll stay, you know, a week. We got weekends over here at the house.
During this conversation with the police, they was telling the police that when she was over at the house, she actually had some Victoria's Secret underwear with her, and Johnny actually knew how many pair of underwear there was. He said, yeah, her 38 pair of Victoria's Secret underwear. Like, how do you know specifically how many there were?
She said that she knows who the father was, but she ain't saying.
Oh, she did know?
Yeah, she knows who the father of her child was. So she did, but then you can't really take anything that she's saying serious because now that she's been gone, I question literally everything.
Okay, now here's where things get a little dicey. They ended up taking Uncle Johnny's DNA, and they ended up finding his DNA inside her underwear. Now, this is Johnny's brother. Johnny ended up telling his brother that he believes he got Iyana pregnant, and because of this, he needs to get rid of her.
How are you?
How you doing? I've had better days.
I know, right?
Yeah.
There's been a lot happened. We need to talk about, okay?
At this would come over to your house and you do like trips to the beach.
Yeah.
Trips to the
We always when to go with the pool we
What
had
about
the pool we had at the house.
They would stay the night. They'd spend
Yeah,
time
they'll
at your
spend
house. And there was
the whole
anybody-
summer.
So you're doing all these things with the girls,
No, with all of them.
right? With the kids.
All of the kids.
But,
Yeah.
But then they're accusing you of messing with the girls.
Correct. Yeah, and this is they came out with that they started like real heavy with it when went with that boy across the street and doing all that. That's when it started like really thick. So now is missing. She ran away or whatnot. Now here I am sitting in the hot seat because is mentioning me as that I was I'm Mr. Jose.
Okay.
So
Do you know who she ran away with?
I don't. I've been expecting call me, text me, anything. Snapchat me, smoke signal.
So if I were to tell you that I found some underwear that had your DNA in it, how would you explain that?
I would say that is not that there's no way in shape in any form.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no way.
So with the case across the street, there was a kit done.
Correct.
And she was wearing specific clothes to include underwear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she told me that was one of her biggest pet peeves, that they took underwear from her.
Okay. So that's what he's talking
That's
about.
what I was referring to.
That wasn't my DNA. That I didn't.
100%.
No way.
It's DNA. Yeah.
I'm not saying you're a monster. I don't think you're a monster at all. Okay? I think
It is literally crazy that they're sitting here telling him that they did a test on a guy that she used to deal with across the street, and that test came back inconclusive. And when they did the test on him, that test came back positive. And he's sitting here telling them that can't be. No, it's not me. But come on now, my ninja, we did the test on you. You're guilty. You have to live up to it, and let us know what happened. Right now, he's in a hot seat and he's trying to talk his way out of, being guilty or being found guilty when they have DNA that basically shows that you are guilty.
how did he have all those details.
I don't know how he had all those details. I'm sorry. I don't know how he had any of those details.
And he said he didn't believe you at first. He thought you were kidding. But it was so detailed.
No. I'm sorry. Nope.
So, Johnathan, is there anything else you'd like to say?
There's nothing else I would like to say.
Okay. Then at this point, I'm going to place you under arrest for sexual battery. It's a first-degree felony. So if you'll stand up and turn around and face the wall, place your hands behind your back.
Giving a little context to this part of the video, once he goes to jail, the detectives put an informant in the cell with him, 2 of them, and he actually starts telling them what happened.
Good by doing it, getting rid of the body and all that. Why would they point the finger at you? Because of my brother. So why did you kill her? If you didn't think she was going to jail, or you just felt like it was going to hit the fan and later on.
Yeah, she was 16 when she came out that she was pregnant. There's a possibility that was mine.
So that wherever the...
It was over at the job. It was loud over there.
Oh, you shot at the job and left there overnight?
It was loud at the job over there.
This girl would have jumped out, screamed anything. So what about the cameras?
The camera system. It's like everything is blurry, nothing is focused. And that's the thing, the cameras do work, but they suspect. You know, in A-Speaker part, there's so many spots you could throw over the gate.
I guess maybe you shouldn't have. You did the right thing, because you probably be in a worse situation than she was living.
And like he mentioned, once they took a look at the surveillance video, they just seen him getting in his van and leaving for work. Any other evidence that they tried to find on the camera was exactly like he said. It was a piece of shit. There was not much concrete evidence they can get from the video.
Not really what?
Went to the gun range the same day.
So after they asked him if he cleaned off the gun, he said, no, I went to the gun range that same day. So basically, why would he go to the gun range? He would basically go to the gun range so that he can shoot the gun, and any ballistics that came back off the gun would be found on his hands, but they do see that he went to the gun range. They also checked many different vehicles inside of the scrapyard that, he worked at the pull-apart place, and they couldn't find anything. They did find some old underwear from Victoria's Secret, but they couldn't match up whether or not the underwear belonged to Iyana. So ultimately they were at a dead end. The only thing they had was the confession that he had just given their 2 informants in prison, which he didn't know that they have. So they ultimately wound up bringing him back in for another interview.
Met with the grand jury today on your case as well as several others, and you are being indicted on first-degree murder. The 3rd count is going to be sexual battery. Okay? We need to advise you of that.
Okay.
All right. We would like to talk to you if you're willing to speak with us.
I have an attorney that's representing me, but she doesn't want me to talk to nobody without her being present.
So during that interview, they ultimately couldn't get him to talk. He said he had an attorney representing him, so then the case ends up going to court. The only evidence that they really have against him is his brother's confession and the conversation with the informants, because they couldn't find no other evidence inside the scrapyard. So the prosecutor starts off with the argument of, we have DNA in the underwear, and we have confessions from his brother, we have confessions from 2 informants that we put on him, and then they ultimately wind up talking to Iyana's aunt as well, who ended up breaking up with him.
Since himself after that, he did in fact continue speaking with them.
So what are we looking at in state 64?
These are the messages from Snapchat.
The Snapchats from Johnathan Quiles in the months leading up to Iyana's disappearance were sometimes sexually
I'm very aggravated right now. I'm going to hit you later. 9/7/2018, 12:21. Yeah, so I need you to be like 100% with me at all times. I'm just so in love with you, I'll kill you and cry.
There was a change in his behavior after she went missing. Prior to that, he was fidgety and nervous. He was restless. After she went missing, then he slept like a baby.
After her aunt, they put his brother on the stand. Remember, his brother is the one he actually was telling that she's pregnant and it might be mine and I'm going to have to get rid of her. Here we have a little bit of what his brother had to say.
Sound panicky to you on previous occasions?
No. It was more concerned about what is he going to do with the young lady in question. That she might be pregnant, and what is he going to do? He doesn't want to ruin his family and mess up what he has already going on.
Conversation with his brother, he actually drove to Iyana's school and picked her up and told her that they're going to run away and that they will be together forever. This is the confession that he made.
In a vehicle, waiting, he tried to strangle her. It didn't work out. He couldn't stomach it. And so then he later went and shot her in the chest. And then he proceeded to discard the body by transporting it into a dumpster and destroying the vehicle.
Mr. Quiles, were you surprised by what he told you?
Absolutely.
I can't talk to you right now. I have to stay firm on my decision. What you told me isn't some joke or something you like about. So yes, I told the police because they needed to know. I'm sorry I have to do the right thing for that girl and her family, not the right thing for you and your selfishness. I hate to lose you, but I'd rather that the girl's family have some peace. If you're innocent, then you don't need to worry and they won't find her body. But if you're not, they're going to find her. And in that case, I already lost my brother.
After his brother takes the stand, they bring in one of the informants that Johnny told his story to. And here is one of the informants.
What he said to you.
Choked
her once he shot her.
Once he shot her, he threw her body in the dumpster. You shot her? How you killed her? You don't mind me asking, I'm just blunt. Yeah, I know. I know you don't really want to talk about it. It's all going to be able to get rid of the body.
See, I dump garbage over at the landfill and be buried under like 3 feet of garbage.
So if the jury wasn't convinced before, they were ultimately convinced now after hearing him speak to the informant on the tape. And after hearing his confession on the tape, he ended up getting the sentence that he deserved because of his crime.
Johnathan Quiles is now a 2-time convicted murderer. Each of you know the horrendous facts that occurred in this case. Each of you did justice when you convicted the defendant beyond a reasonable doubt of premeditated murder of IS and the premeditated murder of IS's unborn child. And we'll ask you all to render a vote of there's something there that would make you all come back and say life without the possibility of parole is appropriate.
They were initially trying to get the death penalty, but the defense argued that he should be spared the death penalty and just get life in prison. So they had a bunch of people come up to humanize him, and ultimately they took away the death penalty and just gave him life, 3 counts, without the possibility of parole. Here we hear from her mom.
Iyana was full of life and wanted to do so many things. She wanted to be a pediatrician. I thought about being a lawyer. To my mom, she was going to be a lawyer because she could talk her way out of almost anything. She was everything you could ask for in a daughter. We were so close. She was my first love. I would never hear her say, I love you. I would never receive another FaceTime from her while I'm at work. I thank God for the 16 years that I was able to spend with her. Until we meet again, I love you forever.